The 35th anniversary Mazda MX-5 Miata commemorates a major milestone for one of the greatest cars ever made. The MX-5 Miata, the light, zippy, rear-wheel drive charmer, is 35 years old. And to celebrate, the world got special edition Miatas with wine red paint and tan upholstery.
You might be saying, good grief, Alanis, you just love Miatas, don't you? Do you talk about any other car? The answer to the first question is yes, I do love Miatas. I own 2 Mazda Speed NBs, and my mom's owned like 6 or something. I don't know, I lost count a few years ago. The answer to the second question is no, I really can't talk about any other car because being a Miata owner is like being a Porsche 911 owner, except way cheaper. Being a Miata obsessor, I have gotten to drive this car, which is called the ND3, many times. I will link a bunch of reviews and other stuff in the comments below. And also being a Miata obsessor, I have gotten to meet and become friends with a lot of the people critical in its development. 2 of my favorites are original Miata designer Tom Matano and Mazda's current head of North American design, Jacques Flynn. So instead of driving and reviewing this car today like we've done many times, I want to talk to them about what makes it special and what's coming next. I met Tom Matano about a year ago. He's considered a father of the Miata, and right after I met him, he sent me a bunch of documentation, basically his plans for the Miata from 1986 to 1999. Something Tom always tells me is that you know you truly love your car, and it's very important to truly love your car when you turn around and you look at it every time you leave it in a parking lot or somewhere else. The first generation Miata debuted in 1989, and Mazda followed Tom's plan. So I wanted to read a few of my favorite excerpts from that document he sent me. Tom said emotional users are the target for the Miata, and that if you can accept vehicles as an object of religion, you will be able to understand and love sports cars. He also said clubs were important and that the United States is an individualistic country, but making friends through hobbies is very common. Tom mentioned how some people would have families and kids and they would have to part ways with their Miatas, ideally coming back to them later. And as has always been the case for the Miata, Tom repeated, avoid thoughtless changes. Be patient. Don't make vehicles change for the sake of change.
I wanted to make it timeless, even though car company wants not to be too timeless, fresh up all the time. But my mind, if I do it, I would like to have enduring design life, for example. We couldn't find anything we could afford to have a Joy at the time. The Porsches and others are way up high in the range. And then not the day-to-day, just kick around. And then it's a 15-year-old Alpha or MGs. And so, in essence, if the Mazda could build it, like they had RX-7 before, and then we could drive it every day, and price point would be about $20,000 or something, 18, 19 there. So that would be a good idea. And I really wanted to have a convertible because once you live the full convertible for a year, all 4 seasons, you want to go back to that little sunroof or detachable roof doesn't count. You got to have all the air around you. So that was opportunity to work on it.
After the NA Miata came the NB from 1999 to 2005. I own 2 special editions of these, and they're called Mazda Speeds. Then came the NC, and this was very bubbly and cutesy, and people called it girly and a big boat. When the ND came around in 2016, it was lighter and it was more serious, and that was the goal from the start.
It was a very deliberate decision to go more into this, as you said, more serious, sporty, dare I say, like a bit more masculine, and just try to attract a group of people for that car that historically hadn't really been into that car, young enthusiasts. I mean, Miata is, when it came out, that demographic, a little bit older, just kind of like the tie into the old British roadsters and sports cars. We saw a change happening. So with ND, we really wanted to appeal to this more youthful, spirited enthusiast.
Something Miata enthusiasts and car enthusiasts in general have asked for over the course of the Miata's lifetime is more power. When the ND Miata arrived in 2016, it had 155 horsepower and it got 30 mpg combined. It was amazing. But a few years later, we got what we asked for, a 181 horsepower ND Miata. That first ND became known as the ND1. The 181 horsepower ND update became known as the ND2. And then just recently, we got the ND3, which still has 181 horsepower, but it also has slight drivability tweaks. This is an ND3, and when people are asking me about buying ND Miatas, I say, if you have the ability to get an ND2 or an ND3 over an ND1, go for it. The ND3 is the best Miata ever made, and it is so, so good. But with the ND, Mazda didn't just reverse the cutesy nature of the NC. The company also drastically cut the weight. You could get ND Miatas in the 2,300 pound range, which was a 150 pound cut from the previous generation of the car. And this was all on purpose. Jacques said with design, you have to start with the story of a car. And at Mazda, on the Miata, that story had to agree between design and engineering.
Look, for a car like that, it's hyper collaborative. Packaging and architecture is so integral to a car's design, right? I mean, back in the day, it truly was, here's the package design team, style it, which worked for a long time. But now with how quickly like technology is changing and the advantages that certain technology and packaging kind of solutions can give you as a designer, it's super important that we work together from day one. I think the first thing you got to agree on is just like I've said it a couple of times, like what's the story, right? What's the message? I mean, ND was make the best damn manual sports car we can make. I mean, I remember presenting a car and it was amazing to be able to say like this car got smaller. That doesn't happen, right? Model bloat, it's the opposite. Every car gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Like we made it smaller. Like key to this car being like that kind of best damn manual transmission sports car you can buy.
Tom Matano's vision for the Miata was always for it to be a personality, not a prop. The goal was for people like me and you and so many others to love this car like their own. And because the Miata achieved that, that makes every subsequent generation of the car, including the upcoming one that Jacques' team is working on, really difficult because you have to balance all the things people love about Miatas with evolving the Miata for the current car market. The Miata's philosophy has always been horse and rider as one. And it's completely true. When I drive a Miata, I am one with the car. And then we, as one, are one with the road. One of my favorite parts of any Miata is that I have this direct mounted transmission. It's not connected by cables or any other part. And that means I put my hand on the shifter and it just softly buzzes with the car. And it makes you feel connected to the car because you are, and that has always been the idea.
When you start going through the traffic and all, like ND, and then sweeping through the freeway, it's like you're skating or slalom on a skiing. Like it's not effort, just simply just turn the wheel and move, and that natural, and you start to feel like you are doing kind of dancing kind of thing, or you're going there and like this, and you feel it on your hips. So that's really everything about your feeling exactly what the car's doing. You can feel the rear wheel on your butt, so to speak. And then ND, the latest one with the 1 degree tilt that the engineer told me about. So it's in standstill. They have a 1 degree weight shift already started on the chassis. So when you turn, cars, normally flat and then dive a little, then start turn. But they already dive 1 degree beforehand, And that 1 degree, you turn, they start turning without this down and turn. And I couldn't believe that. How do they know? They know I'm going to make a right turn sort of feel. So they really continue that into the next level.
The whole idea of Jinba Ittai and this sort of horse and rider connection from driver to car, um, design can't get in the way of that, right? Everything that design and engineering both do, product development has to enable that, strengthen that, enhance that. So, but like with a brand new Miata, you want to be able to communicate with that car immediately. So after that first drive, like you know that car and that car knows you, and you're starting that to build that relationship. And I think that you want to do quickly and establish that trust and that confidence extremely quickly so you can enjoy that thing as fast as possible, and not speed, but just like as you start to climb into that Miata a week later, you know that car and it knows you. I think that's the ethos. That's what it does better than anything.
The goal with the ND Miata was to make it a really, really good modern manual sports car. And you don't see those a lot on the market these days, especially in America. Companies just don't make manuals because there's not as big of a demand for them. But I know a company that does, and that company is our partner, automotive supplier Magna.
Magna makes all kinds of transmission architectures, including dual-clutch transmissions, several hybrid transmission systems, and even transmissions for e-drives. Thankfully, Magna has a few manual transmissions in its portfolio which can be used in all sorts of vehicle applications. Magna's MTI family of manual transmissions, for example, are modular and scalable and have a torque capacity of roughly 280 to 600 pound-feet of torque. They can even add an optional 7th gear. Better yet, these are future-proofed and design-protected for hybridization. You'd probably never know it, but Magna's manual, dual-clutch, and hybrid transmissions are found in many popular vehicles around the world today.
We absolutely love learning about all of Magna's technologies, and we hope you do too. If you want to learn more about the company, you can check out magna.com or their social media. One of my favorite parts of the ND Miata's design is the fact that the sides of the hood, which raise up, transition perfectly into this body-colored piece on the inside of the door. And it is so pretty. And when I talked to Jack about it when we first met, I said, gosh, that's just so nice. And he put words to why it's so nice. He said that was deliberate. It's to make you feel one with the inside of your car and the outside of your car at the same time and while you're in it. But Jack has a different favorite part of the ND's design.
I mean, my favorite part of that car is, and it's a bit high level, but there are no real lines on that vehicle. You know, that's something that we took from NA and B and C, the previous generations, and just executed it, or executed it in a different way. But there are no creases, you know, there are no stamping lines. I mean, you've got the only ones that really do are the fenders, right? The front fender and the rear fender, and the plan view of those. That's what sets up the entire car. Everything kind of falls from that. Sure, the body side's got muscle right in front of that rear wheel. It doesn't have your typical rocker where you're catching light. It actually folds into the car, so you're getting a lot of really nice shadow on the lower part of the car. Helps the car feel really light, really nimble. You know, and as we were in that stage in Kodo design, we were really trying to reduce. So it was like eliminate lines, eliminate kind of anything that's not necessary, take it away. But it still needs to feel lively. The reflections still need to move as you walk around the car. So it's just kind of that overall theme of like, we didn't have to put anything on this car that didn't need to be there. And it's really evident with the kind of body side theme.
Jack couldn't talk much about the next generation of the Miata, but what he did say is that it, like other cars in Mazda's lineup, has to fit into Mazda's vision for the future, which is mainly sustainability and technology. What Jack could talk about was what he hopes people will remember about the ND Miata in 35 years.
Probably depends a little bit on what we do with the next one, if I'm completely honest. But I think, you know, what happened with the ND was it was a clear break from the NC, from just again, the spirit and the mission of that car remained the same, but the exterior design, the styling was such a big break from the more, what we said, like kind of cute, friendly Miata sort of ethos, design ethos. I think it was really successful, right? It didn't get busy. It doesn't feel trendy. It still feels super timeless and like modern today on the road. So I think that's something and that's kind of designy, but like it's clearly a different sort of theme than the previous cars, but still has that real nod to simplicity and sort of like driving experience. I hope that's what people remember in 30, 35 years.
In Tom Matano's original plans for the Miata, he described the ideal outcome for a buyer as, quote, "Just before retiring to bed, you stop for one last look and even say goodnight to the car, or maybe even sit in it one last time," end quote. And he's right. Every time I step away from a Miata, be it one of my two Mazda Speeds or this loaner 35AE, I turn around and look at it, and I say goodbye. Until next time, of course.
I think about all the memories the Miata holds for me. I think about all the people I have met and bonded with over the Miata, like Tom and Jack and my husband and my mother and the local Miata club and race car drivers. This car did exactly what it set out to do, which was be a personality and be a fixture in people's lives. And hopefully, that goal will always stay the same.